Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, coming back to you with another collection video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at convicted_cinephile. I thought I would do my Criterion collection DVDs and Blu-rays for you. I don't have a ridiculous amount of them, only 30 or so, but they are cool and fun to share nonetheless. So I thought I would do these because I've been doing my other boutique label series over the last week or so. And it's getting into award season, which is my favorite movie geek season of the year. At least that and horror movie season are my two favorites. But I thought I'd class it up a bit and do my Criterion collection today. So here we go. So like any sane person, I have them in numerical order on my shelf. This is the oldest number I have, Silence of the Lambs. This is the Blu-ray copy. It's been released on Laserdisc and on DVD, which I used to own as well. This is spine number 13. Not only is this awesome to have on the Criterion collection because it's gorgeous, it's also a part of my AFI Top 100 and Best Picture collections as well. On to one of the few movies I have two copies of worth keeping, RoboCop, the old Criterion Collection DVD, number 23. This was also released on Laserdisc, so this is essentially the same version that's on the Laserdisc as far as I am aware. But obviously, my Arrow Blu-ray is a substantially higher quality release than this one, but this one's just too damn cool to not keep. On to one of my favorites, spine number 51, I believe, Terry Gilliam's Brazil. There is a awesome 3-disc DVD version of this on Criterion. This is a must-buy in my opinion. On to spine number 64, The Third Man, starring Orson Welles. This one is also on Blu-ray, but I believe the Blu-ray is completely out of print at this point. I have this in my collection because it's part of the AFI Top 100 films as well. On to one I owned, sold, and bought back at Goodwill recently, Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy. This is spine number 75. This one is only available on DVD. But I've always been a Kevin Smith fan, so I'm glad to have it back in the collection again. The next one is one I've had on DVD and now upgraded to Blu-ray. I did a video recently comparing this version of The Blob to the 1988 remake that I showed off in my Scream Factory collection. This movie's fantastic, and this release looks amazing. The colors pop like crazy. You can see this is spine number 91. Another one I have because it's part of the AFI Top 100 Films collection, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. This one's available on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray set is actually fantastic, but since I already own this, I saw no reason to upgrade that instead of trying to add new movies to the collection. Spine number 97. On to spine number 105, Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas. This movie is awesome. There is no Blu-ray release of this from Criterion, but there is other Blu-ray releases and I believe a 4K release as well. I also have this because it's part of the AFI Top 100 collection. And it doesn't get much more prestigious than Michael Bay, so this is The Rock, number 108. I used to have the Armageddon DVD from Criterion as well, so I'm looking to rebuy that one at some point just to have them both. This release isn't that good. A lot of the older Criterion DVDs aren't enhanced for widescreen, which is a problem. On to number 118, Sullivan's Travels. This is also part of my AFI Top 100 Films collection. Sadly, for all of the years I've owned this, I don't think I've actually sat down and watched it yet, so I need to get on that soon. It's a common thing that I sold a lot of my older Criterions and repurchased them at thrift shops. This is one of those as well. Wes Anderson's The Royal Tenenbaums on DVD. I knew this is one of the easier Criterions to find, especially while thrifting, so I didn't bother to splurge on the Blu-ray when I knew I could go buy it for a couple of bucks at a Goodwill. This is spine number 157. And on to number 175, Terry Gilliam's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is the DVD version. It is available on Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken. This movie definitely has its fan base now, but I've never been a huge fan of it. I prefer a lot of Gilliam's other movies I've seen to this, like Brazil especially. On to some body horror from the king of body horror himself, Cronenberg, Videodrome. This is number 248. This is one I actually had on DVD and upgraded to the Blu-ray. I always say Cronenberg can get it done in 90 minutes or less, and he usually does. I'm going to show this one off a little more than most of them because it actually has my favorite design on the case. It looks like a old Betamax cassette. The DVD looked the same as this. The DVD was a little thicker though, so it kind of gave the impression that it was a real tape better off than this one. But there's the side, number 248, as you can see. Definitely one of the better Cronenberg entries. On to another Wes Anderson one I also owned, sold, and rebought at a Goodwill. Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, starring Bill Murray. This has never been my favorite of Wes Anderson's films, but adding a Criterion DVD to your collection for only $1 or $2 is never a bad thing. On to one of my favorite and strangest entries in the Criterion collection, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, directed by David Fincher, one of my favorites. This is spine number 476, and the strange thing about this one is that it was the only Blu-ray release this film got, so it's a standard Blu-ray case, unlike every single other Criterion collection I've ever owned or seen. Up next is a great box set, numbers 544 through 550, The America Lost and Found, the BBS story. This includes Head, Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, Drive, She Said, A Safe Place, Last Picture Show, and The King of Marvin Gardens. I got this mainly because Easy Rider and Last Picture Show are both on the AFI Top 100, and 5 Easy Pieces is also a Best Picture nominee, so I figured I could kill a few birds with one stone with this collection, and when it's half off, it's only like $60 for these 7 movies, which is a great deal. And I grew up watching The Monkees with my sister, so I've always been interested to watch Head, so now I finally have a chance to do it in the best quality possible. On to one of my favorites that I've seen in the collection, Brian De Palma's Blowout. This film stars Nancy Allen and John Travolta and John Lithgow. This is peak De Palma in my opinion. It's spine number 562, as you can see here. This has one of my all-time favorite film concepts. Up next is 12 Angry Men. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. This is part of the AFI Top 100 and my Best Picture collection, and it's nice to have it on Criterion finally as well. This film basically takes place in one room if you haven't seen it, and it's only about 95 minutes long. So it's an easy one to get through, and once it gets into the story, it just sucks you in, and you're just hooked the entire time. It's amazing. I've watched it several times. On to another David Fincher classic, the underrated The Game, starring Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. This is number 627. This was the film he did between Seven and Fight Club, if I'm not mistaken, so it just kind of always seemed to get lost in the shuffle, but it's a great movie. I always sort of considered this to be his lost classic. On to spine number 654, one of the greatest cult classics of all time, Repo Man, starring Emilio Estevez. I've actually never seen the film. I honestly bought it purely because of the cult classic status it has, and because this packaging is gorgeous. Nothing gets my jollies going more than a sexy digibook package on a Blu-ray. On to another Cronenberg classic, number 712, Scanners. This was the first Blu-ray release they did. This one has the Blu-ray and the DVD. I think later they only released a Blu-ray only version, so my copy is about twice as thick as the new version that they're selling in stores, which I always thought that one looked kind of chintzy compared to this one. This has some of the most amazing artwork on it, though. It's honestly worth buying just for that. Onto a Brian De Palma film I bought but still haven't seen, Dressed to Kill. This is number 770. This stars Michael Caine, and like most other Brian De Palma films from this time, Nancy Allen is in it as well. This is my favorite time period of Brian De Palma films, everything from the late 70s through the early to mid 80s, so I'm looking forward to it. Number 777, another Cronenberg classic, The Brood. I have seen bits and pieces of this movie, but I've never actually watched the entire thing, so I'm looking forward to finally seeing it for the first time via the Criterion collection. And like every other good Cronenberg movie, it's 100 minutes or less usually, which is very rare for filmmakers nowadays. Finally, some Criterion love for my favorite filmmakers of all time, the Coen brothers. This is Inside Llewyn Davis. This is spine number 794. The first time I saw this movie, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I've watched it several times since then, and I like it more every time. The cast is amazing. The music is outstanding. The cinematography is great. Oscar Isaac is an amazing singer and actor. It's impressive. From one of the newer films from them to their very first film, Blood Simple, also by the Coen brothers. This movie's great as well. They, like I said, they're my favorite filmmakers of all time, so I'm a little biased. I literally named my son after them, so yeah, I like them. I'm super excited for the Criterion Collection copy of Miller's Crossing to finally come out, because that movie has not gotten a worthwhile release yet. It's amazing. On to the original film that inspired Blowout. This is Blow Up. The only difference between the two stories is this one involves a photographer who basically unintentionally photographs a murder happen or a crime of some sort. I haven't actually watched this version yet. Blowout involves a sound recorder doing that instead. Another Cronenberg classic that I haven't seen that's also part of my Best Picture collection, Barry Lyndon. I've only seen images of this film, and it literally looks like you're watching paintings, so I'm imagining the art direction and cinematography are going to be mind-blowingly good. This is spine number 897. If the camera decides to focus, I'll show you that. On to number 909, some horror, the classic Night of the Living Dead. This is an amazing release. It looks and sounds perfect, at least as perfect as any old film from 1968 with a no budget could possibly look. It's nice to see some classic horror movies getting their Criterion treatment because they're usually not as respected as they deserve to be. Spine number 1051, David Lynch's The Elephant Man, another Best Picture nominee that I had to buy for that and this collection as well. I haven't actually seen this movie yet. I'm very interested in it. I've never been a huge David Lynch fan, but I've never really given his films a fair shake. They're all kind of hit or miss for me, but this seems to be one of his better reviewed films overall, so I'm looking forward to it. And my last two are both from 2019. This is Academy Award-winning Best Picture Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. This movie is fantastic. The Criterion Collection actually has a black and white version you can watch, which is really cool. That's not available anywhere else. And the standard 4K and Blu-ray releases of this have basically no special features whatsoever, so this is absolutely the version to buy. And on to another film nominated for Best Picture in 2019, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman with De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci. Yeah, this movie is fantastic. It's very long, but I loved it. It's a good 3.5 hour crime epic saga. Martin Scorsese, when he's at home in his finest genre, can do no wrong, in my opinion. This one also has amazing artwork. It looks like oil paintings of each of the actors, and it is spine number 1058. I can't remember for sure if it came out the same day as Parasite, but it definitely could have. And that's all she wrote for now until the next sale. And that's all she wrote. Like I said, I don't have a crazy amount of them. Honestly, more than half of them, if you can't tell, I bought recently during their sales. That's why they're still sealed. A lot of the movies I've seen, but I haven't watched since I bought them because I have a lot of new stuff to watch and, no time to watch it. We all have the struggle, right? Anyways, thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at convicted_cinephile. See you next time.